I think the CS is very rough and violent, very, very odd in the society. So I ask a lot of people what they feel about it, what they'd like to change. And I've seen a few pieces come up. I think one was in the Telegraph recently, and some woman wrote about how disgusting they were, how she didn't like how they looked. The comments below was inspiring. The amount of people that are just like, it's up to them, it's blah blah blah. I agree, it depends on what the tattoos are. There's a few people that have some, yeah. Yeah, well, I've got things like that. So, yeah.
I'll make you lift a shirt.
Yeah, I don't.
Conversely to that, do you feel, obviously you blog on a mixture of subjects, parenting, blogging, all this stuff.
Yeah.
Do you think that affects who contacts you and wants to work with you? Do you think it has any negative effects on the brands that might want to work with you?
No, actually. A lot of people have loved the blog so far. I've been quite lucky in, like, I'm not getting paid for a lot of my blogs, but I'm getting products, and these are products that I use every day, especially with Daisy Ella. Lots of wipes, nappies, everything, I'm getting them sent through. But I want stuff that, because I don't get a lot of spare time, ever. Like, I was up till 4 AM with Daisy Ella, full-time job. But when I get something through from Bavaria Beer or from Creative Beer, I'm like, yep, I'll have that. And I'm completely fine with it. I drink it anyway, and I started getting things through. I've got a few offers for free tattoos, which is pretty cool. I do like that. But nothing really genre-based. It's completely open. Nobody really sees me as somebody with a tattoo. They see me as a dad. And that's it. Yeah, I'm quite lucky.
Cool. Anyone else? Well, I guess my next question in that case then, bearing in mind the niches you were blogging, I was going to ask you what the worst approach you've ever had is, but I think we talked about some of the stuff and there's some dross out there. I'll ask you conversely, what's the best experience you've ever had with a brand or an agency or some sort of commercial content that you think, right, that's the model of how I want it all to be? Have you got any sort of trips or amazing experiences you can sort of tell us about, amazing examples of how it should be done? Bad side.
Nerf invited us to a all-out war with loads of Nerf guns at the top of what's it? Centre Point, is it? Right at the top, on the top floor there. That was quite fun. None of us remembered to write about Nerf that week, so it didn't really work, but it was good. And now in the back of my mind, I think, oh, Nerf. That's about it.
I actually got invited to the same event.
Yeah, no way.
A couple of colleagues went along and I didn't write anything about it either.
Yeah.
Although actually as a result I now got contacted by Boomco, who are their big competitors.
Yeah, okay.
Who will send me every Boomco gun they've ever produced.
Have you written about that?
Yes.
Yes, right.
Was that the video you did?
Yeah, Boomco. They're good because they're air powered rather than vacuum powered. And there's too many patches like that, frankly. And what about you ladies? Any kind of great experiences you've had, or is it not something that level yet?
Really. I've been to like a few like lunches or breakfasts that they've done, which is quite nice because you get to meet bloggers and you actually speak with brands and bloggers. It's quite nice socialising instead of just a brand sending you a product and then you don't really know them, you just know them through email. It's quite nice to meet companies. So I've met quite a few PR companies where we actually text now and message. So it's quite nice to be more personal, not just very professional bloggers.
I think the beauty brands have really got the kind of blogging events quite sorted. They do separate ones for the press in the day, and they do separate, so that maybe hire a venue for the whole day and evening, and the daytime will be the press in terms of the long lead magazines and the, the more kind of publication, like we're talking about the different, whether it's a platform, but the publication-based websites. And then the evening is literally a blogging event, and because of the fact that I have a foot in both camps, I get sometimes we'll go to either or. And they do arrange the events in the evenings very differently for the bloggers. They are much more a socialising kind of catch up. It's much more kind of about the entertainment value of. I don't mean entertainment in terms of dancing girls. I mean like food and drink and that kind of thing. And I do find that the way that they're done in the day is much more business-like because we're taking time out of our away from our desk, and you've got to get back to your desk or to the next meeting. Whereas the evening is normally for, I think they see it as blogging, as you say, at the moment most people are doing it part-time, so they're doing something else during the day, and then they're rushing from their day job, from their office job, to a nice venue. And the thing is that a nice venue, so people, they do go because they know they're going to get canapes, they know they're going to get champagne, and if that's what they want, it's working. I mean, I quite like to just go to the day events anyway, just to get information and get home, or get back to my desk or whatever, but I think they are doing them very well, and there's some very inventive events going on for the beauty. I can't talk for fashion ones, but I'm sure they're just as inventive. And there's a lot of money being thrown at these events.
So I guess to my previous question then, so obviously they're throwing a lot of money at these events. Are they also throwing a lot of money at you, or would you rather they didn't? I mean, do you lose your impartiality if you take money for an event or a review or something like that?
Well, I think what's happening is that a lot of the readers, because you see these comments actually coming up on blogs, you know, when the readers comment saying, I'm seeing a huge number of this particular brand and this product from this brand. All the bloggers are writing about it now. So the readers are really savvy, and they know, basically, they've just done a mail out or they've done an event, and that's why every blogger at the moment is writing about that brand and that product at one this week. And I think it's the clever bloggers who kind of don't just take the brand and write about it straight away, and they'll think how it can go into a story, whether it's a roundup of a particular product category or something kind of just a little bit more inventive. So, I mean, the inventiveness needs to come from both sides, from the brands and from the bloggers. You were asking about kind of great events. I've done great stuff, but then there's always been some kind of spanner in the works. Like there's a film on at the moment that I was involved in, but they've not used my name. They put someone else, they got it wrong basically. There were two girls and they put her blog name when I'm on screen. Haven't changed it yet, and we've contacted. She's annoyed because it affects both our SEO and affects just any time our branding basically. But they haven't changed it, so that's like a really very unprofessional, and we're working out how to deal with that because they're not spending the money on just changing that editing film. Or there was another thing that we were doing. They had about 5 of us there. We were filming something, and you get talking because you're spending the whole morning or afternoon with other bloggers, and you find out that some bloggers were told this is the budget because we're taking half a day of your time, and other people were not even offered or asked what is your budget for your time, and that kind of leaves a bad taste. That some people are actually told, right, we're going to pay you for half a day's work, and other people are just expected to kind of think, oh, well, this is nice, and I'm being offered, croissant and coffee, and I'm going to have my face on a film. There's more to it than that for half a day, because for people who are doing the blogging part-time, as you say, they've actually booked time off work. And if you're doing the blogging professionally, then you're expecting to be paid for your time. So either way, that was really badly done.
I was just going to jump in quickly, because I was thinking about it, and initially I was thinking that no one does it right in the wine world, but actually it's not true. If you look at certain regions, they've done it quite well, and I think we get over some of these issues, which is there's no brands in wine, but the regions themselves are brands. So what they need to do is realize when they invite us to an event, and I have to say I get sponsors to host our event every year. Like the Olympics, we move every year. So I've been to countries like Austria, and this year we're going to Switzerland, where their investment is actually not into, they're not paying the bloggers, but they're paying for this conference, for the bloggers to get together. So there's lots of value being given to the bloggers by creating this opportunity. But instead of measuring in terms of blog posts, like the Nerf thing, a PR company for Nerf would have thought that was a complete disaster because their equivalent to column inches, whatever they want to call it, were not there. But the brands who've done it correctly have engaged properly with the people when they're there and turned them into ambassadors for their brand and their product. And they're not necessarily just measuring blog posts, but they're looking at the whole conversation that those people have afterwards. Because, as I said before, blogging is just one part of what we do. The blog I call myself a blogger because I have a blog and I try and publish weekly, but really my main activity is Twitter, my main activity is Facebook. So that's where most of the interaction goes on. So I'm more likely to, I might write about Nerf if I get to the event, but I'm writing about Austrian wine. I discovered the grape Blau Frankish, which I'd never heard of before. I went to Grüne Veltliner, I see it in a completely different light. Before it used to be a cheap alternative to Riesling, now it's a fantastic drink on its own. So I'm being turned into an ambassador. I'm more likely to pick those off the shelf. I'm more likely to buy them. Not because they said, talk about this bottle, but because they said, this is worth paying attention to, and that's brands need to maybe look at that and see if their KPIs can be adapted to measure more than blog posts and look at getting people on board the ambassadors. And maybe this is where brands and where the brand versus agency comes into it as well. So there are some good examples. Try Lugana wines from the south of Lake Garda. I was there on a fantastic trip. I highly recommend them. They did a very good job with us, and I'm prepared to tell you should look out for wines from Lugana.
We will learn something today.